All right, so you've built up your badass little two-stroke. You've read different things about break-in. I'm going to give you what I know about breaking in these little two-strokes. One, you don't need a break-in premix ratio of your oil gas. I don't care what the instructions say. Forget about that. Throw it in the trash. Run 40-to-1 of a decent two-cycle oil mixed with gas. That's 3.2 ounces per gallon. For those of you who do it the metric way, that's 25 milliliters per liter. Do that from day one, the first time you crank it, till doomsday. 40-to-1. Some people running the synthetics, hell, they even go 100-to-1. But if you run 40-to-1, you're going to be great. You don't need all that damn oil in it. You're going to get a lot of carbon buildup, and that's not good on your engine so much, okay? You're going to be fouling plugs. So how do you break in your engine? Well, let me tell you my experience. What I like to do, first crank it up. Go easy. Go easy your first 5 miles. Number one, if it's a brand new bike, you just built it, you want to make sure you got all your hardware squared away. And I don't ride a bike any faster than I want to be going if I was to wreck. Okay? So if I'm wanting to go real fast, one, I'm going to wear a helmet, right? But I'm not going to trust these bikes. I've had stuff happen. Okay? I've had stuff fall off. These aren't the best designed engines or the most safest engine, but we can make them work and we can have a hell of a lot of fun with it, okay? So go slow your first 4 or 5 miles, all right? So you're going to go to something just like this here, right? Nice, slow, easy acceleration, right? You can give it some blips. After you go around the block once, pull over, stop, check your chain. You're probably going to need to tighten that chain up a little bit because that chain stretches and your sprockets wear in a little bit, okay? Don't be the doofus who sits there, cranks it up, locks in the clutch and lets it sit in idle for about 5 or 6 hours and calls it broken in. That's not good on your engine. It's going to overheat. Two cycles like to have the RPMs go up and down, up and down, up and down. Then you want to vary your RPM. And then after about 4 or 5 miles, pull over. Check things out. Make sure your carb's on tight. Make sure everything's snugged up the way it's supposed to be. Your chain tensioner's the way it's supposed to be. All that good stuff. All right, so you've got your first 4 or 5 miles on it. Let's crank it up. Go again, all right? So let's get a little bit more speed going. You want to get a few more RPM. You don't want to sit there and just super baby it. You got a few miles on it. Go ahead. What you can do, hit it full throttle. You hit it full throttle and it's going to bog a little bit like this here. Don't worry, it's not broken in, it's not going to run the best, and your carburetor's probably jetted a little bit rich too. So don't sweat it, okay? So we're going to go, remember, the more throttle you give it, the more gas, the more oil you're getting in there, okay? It's going to help lubricate it. Keep blipping the throttle, blip it a lot. After you've cranked your bike up, and got it up to operating temperature, ran it a little bit, killed it, let it cool down. So basically after about 4 or 5 warm-up cycles where you've started the bike, got it to operating temperature, run it for a bit, parked it, let it cool down. You do that 4 or 5 times, you want to check the torque on your head. Now when you do that, that would be a good time to go ahead, toss the acorn nuts that are on the cylinder studs here. They're not so good. They can mask some problems if they have problems with the studs. Get rid of those. Get rid of the washers. I suggest you get you these spring washers. They're Belleville washers or spring washers. They're washers that are a little like a cone shape, just a little bit of a rise in the middle there, and that spring tension helps hold the torque. So take that off, junk your acorn nuts, put a Belleville washer on each stud, and go with the standard 8mm hex nut. Of course, that's providing you have 8mm studs. Go with the standard 8mm hex nut on it. Torque it back down. And where do you get the Belleville washers, you might be asking? I'll sell you 5 Belleville washers, 1 to keep or 1 to drop on the floor, 5 of the 8mm hex nuts, a head gasket, a base gasket for your cylinder for $9 plus some shipping. Check the link down below. I'll save you a trip to the hardware store because most hardware stores probably don't have it anyways. And you got to buy a bunch of them online. So maybe I can save you some money and time and trouble. You want to torque it to 8 foot-pounds. 8 to 12 foot-pounds of torque is fine. If you don't have a torque wrench, it's not the end of the world. Basically what we want to do is we want to get the nuts here nice and tight, nice and secure. We don't need to prove our superhuman strength, but you want them evenly tight. Because if you got one stud a lot tighter than the others, that'll cause a warp. And you'll blow out your head gasket and you'll have problems here. So what I do is I'll take my breaker bar here, and I don't get it all the way at the end and get as much torque as I can get on it. I'll put my thumb where the socket is and get it nice and firm. I mean, get some gazumpas on it. You want to tighten it up in a crisscross pattern. You don't need to get it super tight. These aluminum gaskets, they're fine. Your aluminum head gasket is fine. It's rather soft, so that's why we don't really need to torque it too hard, okay? Just get it even and you'll be good to go. Okay, so you're going to go a little bit faster now. Get those RPMs up a little bit. RPM's kind of high here for about good 10, 15, 20 seconds and bring it down. Up and down, up and down, up and down. After you've run about a half gallon in it, start cranking it up. Run it like you stole it, right? And now you're broken in. You'll probably notice, after about a full gallon of gas run through your bike, it's going to be running a lot better. Still going to have to sort through some maintenance issues, tighten up, make some adjustments, but that's the nature of this beast. Stay at 40 to 1. If you think this video helped you out, give me that thumbs up. Click that subscribe, notifications. Be safe. Thanks for watching.